I'm Rayvologist, and I have a new tutorial idea that I would like to do. Very basic tutorial, really. It's just going over basic drum and bass drum patterns that one could use for a track. I have a kick and snare here. I could go over hi-hats, but it's mainly focused over the kick and snare, along with I'll just have a bass to show that drum pattern along with a bass line, if that makes sense. Um, because for people starting out, I kind of got bored of the classic standard drum pattern, which I'll go over with, and kind of wanted to see what else some other drum patterns people were using. So, yeah, that's the main purpose of this tutorial that I'm going to go over. Um, and yeah, so let's start off with here's the kick, and here's the snare. Pretty cool. I'm going to tune this down because I think it's in D. I'm pretty sure that was like near perfect on the tuning for tuning it down. I may shorten it a little bit. But anyways, so as I was saying earlier, I got bored of the classic standard, which is a kick on the first beat and then on the and of three. So if you imagine a measure, a musical measure, this is beat 1, 2, 3, and 4. So on beats 1 and the and of 3 is the kick, and then the snare is on 2 and 4, and it sounds a little something like, here, I'll just play a small part of it. Sounds like this. Oh, sorry, soloed. Pretty nice, has its groove. Definitely it's used to a lot in I think they call it dance floor D&B. The more melodic with the underlying plucking bass and all that. Um, but yeah, I'll use it from time to time. Um, and then another thing you could do with this one to make it a little more exciting is you take your snare and you add it to the uh I've been out of practice for one E and the and or I'm sorry, the of two. So if you imagine 16th note, so it would be the last 16th note of beat 2. And then you turn down the velocity just slightly, just so it has some new rhythm to it. And if I just duplicate that. Also, sorry, I sound a little nasally. I'm recovering from sickness. Not fun. But anyways, that drum pattern would sound like this. Pretty cool, more exciting, more hype, and really gives more of a speedy feel. I prefer that one over the standard. What else can we do? So we can start messing with the kick. For this next one, you could just not have the kick on the and of 3, and you can just have it like this. And that, oh, sorry, the snare is on the 2 and 4. This drum pattern specifically is used a lot more with like a snap, um, and like more minimal drums, not as like harsh. I would say it's more for those uh I want to say liquid D&B drops, but also could also be used for like more minimal drum and bass, that really underlying narrow, not too in your face drum and bass. Mouthful, whatever. But that it would sound like, or sorry, this one would sound like. Feels pretty cool, especially without that kick. It's like you're kind of expecting it, but it's just that groovy, uh, only on the snare. Um, yeah, pretty cool. And then another one you could do is you could take your snare on the fourth beat and just set it back an eighth note to the and of 3, where that kick originally was for the standard drum and bass beat. And that would sound like, here, let me duplicate the snares. That would sound like. I really like this one. It's very swingy, I would say. It's definitely a vibe I like in my drums. Now, there's one more. Well, I mean, there's a lot more. Sorry, I'll correct myself. However, when it comes to my song Redacted, this is the one I used. I kind of like it because instead of doing the offset of the snare, you're offsetting the kick to the to the 1E and last 16th note of the second beat. I believe that's how it should be. Let me listen. Yeah. I personally think it's a really nice drum beat to do with adding that offset for the kick. And then of course there is some other, I guess you could say, like subgenres, or it's not really a subgenre, it's a hybrid of genres called crossbreed. That typically uses a hardcore kick. However, just to show with the kick and snare, you would basically just have a 4 to the floor in a way, except the snare would be playing on 2 and 4 and the kick only on 1 and 3, which would sound a little like. But then if I were to give you a more accurate, oh sorry, nope, I don't want that to happen. I almost just played a whole song from the Outside Agency. If I were to maybe grab one of their kick drums from their sample, I should have been more prepared for this. Okay, sure, whatever. First you turn the tempo up to 175 because that's kind of where crossread's at. It's a really cool genre. Not a lot of people make it. Also, for the sake of this, since the kick takes up so much bass frequencies and whatnot, in crossbeat, typically you'll have more of the breaks as like fills for the drop. So your drop would sound more of just something like this. Here, for the sake of it, I'm also going to grab a different snare. I'm actually going to move this snare down. Yeah, that works. Usually you'll have like a pan snare, one that's typically used in like def step a lot or mandatory or whatnot. But and then like right here, you know, you would have your bass section come in with a something like that. But that's just the sake of showing that subgenre of crossread. Very cool genre. Wish more people would make it. I'm working on a song that's kind of crossread, but yeah. Anyways, there's that. To get back to the regular drum and bass discussion, I am gonna grab a sure, we can do that. I want to ride though. Sorry, want a ride. Oh, that's why. Again, I said I could have probably been more prepared. Typically editing videos is like a really cool idea that I've wanted to do. However, I feel like kind of hinders my ability to give information. I like to just speak out and give the information, if that makes sense. So that's why I prefer not doing too much editing. I'll do editing if I like really mess up, but I have a feeling I'm about to. Yeah, this one's cool. All right. So if I I'm gonna mute the hat for now, and I'm gonna go to, I want to say the this drum beat, the one that's just the right. So another thing that you can make your rhythm a little more cooler, you know, it's adding hats and all that, and of course, you know, with the ride, if I do one 4 to the floor, each beat, you know, 1 2 3 and 4, and then I just play it out. I'm just gonna play the drums for now. And also, real quick, in Ableton, you could hit this thing down here, this D. I'm pretty sure just stands for delay. You can delay your samples to play at like specific time, so you could add a little more, just to kind of give it more liveliness. But yeah, so like, say we want that, and then I'm gonna actually do one of my more favorite drum patterns. So I'm not gonna lie, the redacted drum beat is actually like this. But for the sake of it, I'll do this one because this one's cool too. Now, when I say the redacted drum beat, I'm not saying I came up with it. I'm just saying for the sake of the video and referencing how I talked about it was the one I used in my song Redacted. So for hi-hats, you really can do a lot of things with this. Really be creative with your hi-hats, especially using more than just one hi-hat, but for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna use this. And right now, I'm just doing a random pattern, and I'm sure it's gonna sound pretty cool, like that. And I might also pan it to, sorry, there it is. I'm gonna pan it to the right a little bit, and then maybe the hat to the left, and let's see what that sounds like. Another thing, another drum beat tip is you should definitely, in my opinion, sidechain your hats and rides and crashes and all that. Just makes it a lot more vibey, in my opinion. I say vibey a lot, sorry, but the sample choice definitely is questionable. But yeah, so those are like really the standard drum and bass beats. I know I went over a tangent on like crossbeat and all that, and another thing that you could do with these drum beats is like adding in a break. For example, I'll see if this is the right search, but I'm trying to search for here. There it is. Okay. This is a very, very notorious pack. It's like the one everyone has because it's free, and also because it's kind of good. Yeah, let's add this. Just dropping in a break. Obviously, a little more editing sake for the tutorial. I'm just gonna drop this in, and it looks a little offbeat. Not gonna lie. If I just do this, should be. It doesn't sound that good in context. Yeah, just adding a break makes it more brings in some of that old school sampling and whatnot, and really makes your drums pop out. You could chop them up to the point where like either you're doing fills, so I don't know, like maybe like this, or you could cut out sections so that your break is only playing in a certain section because you want your original drums to stand out too. So like would need more mixing and more yeah, mixing and like blending in with your drums. But pretty cool idea. Um, but yeah, that's really it overall. Hope this tutorial helps. Those new beginners. Um, Still trying to figure out how to enhance my tutorials a little bit more with like maybe making them more engaging or whatever. Whether if that's like doing really terrible drawings in paint or whatnot. But yeah, really want to help people out with making music and whatnot because when I first started, everything was a little difficult, and um, I guess there's definitely ways I could teach in a more basic standpoint. But uh, yeah, once again, hope it helps. Let me know in the comments if you have any tutorial requests because I'm always down to do those. I've done a few in the past, and yeah, I just dropped a new song called "In Darkness." It's a hardstyle song, so not drum and bass. Um, and it's out on all platforms. So if you would like to support my music, please go check it out on yes all platforms. I'll put a link in the bio. But yeah, see you.